Well, it's Monday night. We're not even supposed to be here. We're supposed to be packing up the car and getting ready to head south, but it's not happening. How is everybody doing tonight? Let's see. Sunny's Place, Sampson Farms, Grammy Karen, Cecilia Jansen, Naturally NC, Unpolished Gardens, Brett and Cindy's Tennessee Living, Everything Spicy, Mama Z, Davis Family Farm. Oh, who did I miss? Making lemonade from lemons. That's probably a good thing. Brandon's Outdoor Adventures, North Star Prepsteader, Kiss My Grass, Copper Kettle, our neighbors from Pennsylvania, Unpolished Gardens, Kinfolk Farm of Georgia, Babbitt's Farm, Davis Family Farm. Well, we got a couple of you in here, so can everybody hear me okay? That's the first thing I want to find out, because we set up a couple things different here this evening. So, like I say, we hadn't necessarily planned on doing this here tonight. Tractors, trucks, and pups. So anyway, I'm looking at the monitor here. It looks like it's coming out okay, but nobody's saying anything. So, Nathan, can you hear me okay? Loud and clear. Good deal. Thank you so much. Okay, well, can you believe it? You know, if I'd have told all of you, even a week ago, if I would have said, by next Monday, not only are you going to be more or less told to stay home, but restaurants are going to be closed. You can't go out and eat. You can go pick it up and take it home. You can get carry out. You can have delivery, but you're not allowed to go in and eat. That I think the number's been now reduced to 10. You're not allowed to congregate in groups larger than 10. Now, I know a lot of these are dependent upon Ohio, what I'm relating to. Other places, I guess what I'm saying is a lot of this is being state regulated. Absolutely nuts. I'll tell you the scary part is, if they can do that this quickly for this, just imagine if the wrong people got in control and said they were going to do this with our pew-pews. Scary times. Absolutely. Yes, crazy times. Davis Family Farm, crazy times. I'm guessing that a good many of you, if I use the word polio, you've only heard it in passing. You don't remember anything about it.
Ooh, graduation canceled. The twins graduate at the end of May.
Yeah, yeah. Graduations are going to be canceled.
Yeah.
School is going to be canceled. Latest thing I heard today is that this could go on through August, July or August. Okay, Tennessee Living Schools in Tennessee were asked to close by the end of the week. Ours are already closed. Schools here are already closed. All the colleges are closed. They've done some real crazy things. Apparently, at first they had a thing out where, okay, you can. We're going to cut the occupancy down in a public building, like a bar or a restaurant or something. We're going to cut the occupancy down in half. So, in other words, if the occupancy rating was 100, it was then 50. And when you go into these establishments, you have to maintain a distance of 3 foot to everybody. So you have to be 3 foot away from them. And then they were sending fire departments in to check on this to make sure that was being followed. And since obviously it wasn't, they've now, at least was in Ohio, said, well, we're just closing them, just shut down. Now, having said that, according to what the state of Ohio is saying, and that's the one I can relate to the best because that's what I hear the most about because that's where we're from. But, feel free to share here. Matter of fact, I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a couple minutes, and you can share some of your stories here as well. Well, where was I going with this? Because it's obviously just nuts. Oh, I know. The bars and restaurants were closed down. They just totally closed, and they said you can not allow people to come inside and eat. They have limited hours on establishments like grocery stores. You have to close early. Like everything spreads quicker in the middle of the night or something. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Let me set something up here real quickly. Okay. Tell you what. We have we'll just open up the phone lines. So if you'd like to call in and share with us the stories about what's happening in your backyard, what's happening in your neighborhood, we're going to let you talk about it here. Yeah, everything's all set over here. So any of these phone numbers up here, you call in the phone number. You'll be asked for a meeting ID number. That's up here on the screen as well. It's 390-664-466. You type that in. It'll drop you into a little waiting room that I have to admit you into the show, which we can do.
They like your background.
They like my background. All the wonderful millions of COVID-19 images floating through everything.
Yeah, I wanted those eggs, Brenda. I don't have any fresh eggs anymore.
Yeah, we're down to store-bought, I guess.
Yeah.
We're down to store-bought eggs. But the title of the stream I had tonight was, "It's a great time to be a homesteader / prepper." There are people out there, as maybe as silly to us as it sounds, there are people out there that... Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Crystal from Copper Kettle Farm.
Oh, hi, Crystal.
Miss Crystal!
How you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm doing great. How's everybody else doing?
Well, I think we're doing fine. We're surviving.
Yeah? Well, you guys aren't too far from us, so...
No, you're in the neighboring state here.
Yeah.
And good to have you.
Yeah.
So, what I don't know is what what exactly they've been doing and saying in your state.
Well, the governor did do a state shutdown today where all the restaurants and um, bars are being closed down tonight at midnight. And then I just got another message that they're closing down our liquor stores too, but I think that's not until tomorrow night. So tomorrow there may be a run on alcohol, and I may actually try to go get some, but I might not. I'm undecided. I don't need any, but for like sanitation purposes.
So is this going to be closed down or just closed early or
No, closed down.
closed down?
Yeah. And then my husband works in Maryland, just over the border, and they're now collecting his anybody's daily medications that they have to take that are crucial, and any dietary restrictions, because they're considering putting all of the DPW employees on lockdown at the plant. So he works in wastewater, and that means that he will not be able to leave the plant for at least 2 weeks. They're going to feed him. They've got cots there to sleep in, but there's no way for him to get home. And it's so that they don't get sick and that people can still operate the plant, because the poop must flow, I guess.
Crystal, I got a couple of other people on the phone here. Would you like to stay on the phone? And I mean, we can work this just like a party line, or
Sure.
okay, we'll just have you stay on, and we'll get a couple more people on here, and obviously we just have to be not cautious. We just have to be aware that we have other people on here. So we'll get this one first. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
It's me, Red.
I was going to say, I know that voice.
Okay, Red, do you mind being on with other people?
No, not at all.
Okay, let me get another one on here then as well. Crystal is on, and we have another one here. Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hey, this is Misty with Mama Z's.
Oh, Mama Z's. Okay. All right, Mama Z, you are on the line with Red
Party time.
and with Crystal. So it is a party.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's like a party line. So just
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Mama Z. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, where we live is like a really, really small town, and I mean really small. There is like 419 people in the town, and no one is freaking out. I mean, yeah, they're not getting out. The boys went out today. There's like hardly anyone on the road, and everyone's just walking around like there's no problem in the world. But at the same time, they have closed off all visitors to the Korean hospitals here. If you ain't sick, you ain't getting in.
That's crazy.
Well, for us, I have multi levels. I work for a church. We live streamed our Sunday service for the first time off Facebook, and we're going in. We did have a service Sunday, but in our staff meeting Wednesday, we're going to talk about whether we're obviously going to have to probably shut down our Sunday service for the first time, and we didn't even do that after Hurricane Harvey. So I'm just north of Houston, so this is going to be kind of an unprecedented. We're in a city of about 80,000, and we're a church of 200. So it has been crazy here. I mean, all of our grocery stores have been depleted. We walked through Sam's the other day. There was no meat. There was no water. Paper goods were all out. I live in an apartment, but I've definitely got a prepper mindset. I'm doing good, but I also live in an apartment complex. So it's scary for me in the concept of, I know there's a lot of people around me that if we are held up very long, they're going to start running out of supplies.
Yeah, I mean, well, here there was like no toilet paper, no water, no bleach. And biggest part, mainly like the beef was gone, but everyone was skipping over the turkey, the ground turkey. But I mean, it was like normal everyday thing. I don't know. It's because we come from a smaller town. I mean, our town is like, well, you said you had 200 people in your church. Well, that's about half our population. I don't know if that has something to do with
I
it.
think
or,
the size
Oh,
I think the size of the town has a tremendous amount to do with it. I think
absolutely.
the
Country
further
folk will survive.
yeah the fur
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah and that's why I titled this stream this way. It's a great time to be a quote unquote homesteader or a prepper or somebody that lives in the country
Yep.
that's used to not depending upon jumping in the car or walking down the
Right.
street or whatever and grabbing a hamburger for every meal or something. But something else that's happening here that a lot of people are not really talking a whole bunch about yet. But there's supposed to be some elections tomorrow, and the polls are going to be closed in Ohio.
No, they're not.
Did they change that?
Judge wouldn't allow it.
Oh, the judge wouldn't allow
Nope.
it. Okay, because
Judge wouldn't allow it.
the last I heard that the governor said they were going to close the polls, and if anybody wanted to sue the state, that would be fine.
Nope, judge wouldn't allow it.
So now, all of a sudden, we have this thing where everybody has declared no congregating in large groups. I think groups of 10 is the maximum supposed to be now. And we're going to have open voting poll areas.
that don't make any sense.
A whole lot of this doesn't make any sense.
That is true.
A whole lot of this doesn't make any sense. They talk about the numbers of. They're talking about these explosion of numbers of people that are infected. Well, that's in my opinion. One of the reasons for that is, okay, they've sort of just now developed this little test thing, and so now they can obviously say, well, this person has it or this person doesn't. They've had it all along. The numbers are not changing overnight. It's just now they can do an official count instead of.
Apparently, Kentucky, the primary election is postponed. Teresa just posted that.
Okay. So this is going to be something going on. A lot of states are going to say we're going to postpone it. We're going to. It's just crazy times.
When I brought up some of my concerns in a Facebook group that I belong to, that tends to lean a little bit more left, their first response was that I needed to take off my tin hat and stop acting like a crazy person, that the government has got my best interest in heart, and and I said the government doesn't give a darn about us. That wasn't my exact words, but that I'm being nice here.
Well, see, I agree with you. A lot of people
is
like
it difficult,
that have said,
Misty?
as called homesteaders or preppers, nutcases up to conspiracists.
You know me so well, Sherry.
But the ones that are homesteaders and preppers, they're sitting back watching the whole world just go, lose their ever-loving mind.
Well,
Yeah, one of the things that I was talking about I forget, it was somebody's live, but my basic goal is I want to create a life that I don't have to prep for aside from internet withdrawal. That's kind of the goal that I have right now. Is I would miss you guys greatly if we didn't have the internet, but the rest of it should be fine.
Oh, it's something else.
If we lost the internet, I'd have two boys here losing their ever-loving mind.
Well, something else that happened today that I never really thought would happen is we are shut off from Canada. An American citizen cannot cross the border right now. Sorry, closed.
and I'm sure that's going to happen in Mexico.
Well, keep in mind what I said. Canada has shut us out.
Right.
We're not closing Canada out.
Right.
But Canada has shut us out. I don't know if the Mexicans are going to shut the Americans out, but they might.
I've seen some memes about it where it said that the Mexican government was asking us if we can go ahead and finish that wall just out of fun because of everything, but.
Well, you just tell them to start paying up.
It's
The
a
one
lot
thing
of
that I
this,
thought.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, go ahead.
A lot of this, too, I mean, really, no one really knows exactly what's going on. You got the media that is completely blowing everything out of control, out in the sky. But how much is that true? How much is it true? How much isn't? What are they not telling us?
When
People are
we
thinking
went
about that too.
we went Friday afternoon to pick up Kaylee. She spent the weekend with us, and we stopped at Walmart. And before we left, it dawned on me, I went in there for a cabbage so I can make my corned beef and cabbage tomorrow. And that was the one thing I forgot. So we walked back over to the produce, and I'm looking everywhere, and I'm seeing all these empty spots, and I'm thinking, no, they're gone. And there just happened to be a lady redoing the prices on some of the fresh fruit that they marked down. And I asked her, she says, no, they're gone. And some other vegetables. And we were talking. She was about my age, 21. And so we were talking. She said she had two people a little bit earlier come around the corner and was looking for something. And it was husband and wife, she's assuming. They each had a grocery cart. His grocery cart was stocked full of breads, bun, fresh pastries of the like. Full. The cart was full. Her cart was only lettuce. Okay. So schools are off for 3 weeks. Everyone thinks they're going to be quarantined because the schools are off. People, you can still go outside. You can still, within reason, do what you always do. And I just looked at her, I go, do they realize that if they don't put some of that bread in the freezer within 3 weeks, some of it's going to get moldy? Or by the time 3 weeks is over, that lettuce is going to be brown and yucky. And I just,
but you also
I
gotta
just
think
rolled
with
my
that much
eyes.
bread,
Pardon?
with that much bread,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to need the lettuce as a chaser.
Oh, good Lord. And she and she was, and I was thinking, why don't they go to the canned goods section and get canned goods, whether it's fruit, vegetables, or canned meats, canned chicken, cans of fish, tuna, salmon. You don't need the fresh stuff. You can survive off, and that's when I'm thankful. I can go in the back room, and I have a bedroom full of our stuff that we can, plus on the other side of it, our canned goods that we purchased at the store. Plus we have...
I've got flour and yeast. I can
Yeah.
make my own dang bread.
Yes, and I do too. So we can, we can survive, for quite a while with what we have. We don't have milk. We won't have milk, and my eggs, but I have somebody close to me now that I found out that I can get chicken and duck eggs.
Oh, really?
Fred
See,
Shedd.
we just, at the beginning, before all this went cuckoo, we had just canned 20 pounds of sugar and 20 pounds of rice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just get a great big bag, and you can hold it forever.
Yeah. Well, I've had gallon jars of rice that I put into them, and I use my food saver for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
I use those jars now because, we were going to the gathering and the shindig and all this and set up our table to hopefully sell stuff, and I was making rice bags. Well, I'm still making them. I think I might put them up on Etsy, but when we were at GFS, we bought 3 bags of, you said what, they were 10 pounds?
10-pound bags.
So,
Yeah, it was 50 cents a pound.
yeah. So I put those in a big bucket, and it has a snap-on lid, so that'll keep, forever.
Yeah. It doesn't. It really does not take a lot to homestead or prep. It really doesn't. I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I get about $700 a month, and I'm able to prep on that. I do it a little bit at a time.
Well,
and conserve and all that. You can do it on a low income.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly, you can. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's not like I'm gonna go buy a year's worth of supplies tomorrow. That's not the right way to do it.
Well, some of y'all know I had a mini meltdown in Aldi the other day because there was a lady who was getting 3 cases of eggs and 5 cases of strawberries. I'm like, are you going to eat this in the time that this all goes bad? You know, and I grabbed a bottle of wine and said, I'm just going to get drunk tonight. Because it was just so overwhelming because I couldn't get the stuff I needed for my live on Saturday morning.
And after she had her wine, she Marco'd me.
That's too funny.
You know, it was completely overwhelming to me because I just needed a package of bacon so I could cook bacon for my live Saturday morning. And I couldn't find what I needed because these people were being morons, you know. And it was ridiculous. This lady was just walking out with 3 cases of eggs. And I'm like, I realize you can freeze this stuff, lady, but you're being ridiculous, you know, at this point. If you're not prepared now, you're not going to be prepared, you know.
Crystal, are you taking notes here? You can go to Aldi's and get yourself some wine there. You don't have to go to the...
Yeah.
Well, even if they, you know, if they froze the eggs and all that, if this lasts longer, how long do they seriously think it's going? What are they going to do when they run out?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you better be putting padlocks on your doors because these people are going to know who has the garden, who cans.
Well, it was said
Exactly.
it was said on more than one station today on the radio that they're expecting this to go July, August. Of course, nobody knows.
Trump made the mistake of saying July and August, and I'm like, did he just say that? Of course, then they clarified him. But
yeah, that's kind of the concern right now is, 2 weeks, people can usually survive 2 weeks. But if this extends into a longer length of time, then how long before there does create some sort of civil unrest? And are we prepared for that? Like, are people thinking ahead for that? That's kind of the mindset Donald and I are in right now. We thought ahead for getting supplies before things got crazy. Now we're trying to think ahead. Okay, if this does become something more serious for our safety, what can we do?
Well, I know that that they have talked, and I will applaud them for this. But the state of Ohio, anyway, has said that for those people working that are going to essentially be out of a job because of this, they're going to make unemployment available to them with no waiting period. Can start right away. But my question is, what's going to happen to these businesses that they're going to be tanked because of this?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell you a funny story about myself. You know, like I said, we're preppers, so we're kind of ready for this. So the other day, I wasn't panicked about getting the food or the toilet paper or anything like that. I was panicked about not having enough cow manure for my garden. And that's what I went for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Brett.
I know. That's
You're
weird.
right, Brett.
It's
With
weird.
everything changing so fast, we don't know how long it's going to be.
I see Big Dream
it's
Homestead.
Crazy.
Big Dreams Homestead is indicating that they've had some neighbors apparently
Oh, wow.
had food stolen.
Babbitt's Farm said, I work at Dollar General. I heard people are coming to our trucks and stealing the paper products. You know, that's, I'm sorry, that's just pathetic. It just started. Let's not get into, chaos here.
Yeah, if it's this bad now, what's it going to be like
Oh, yeah.
3-4 months down the road?
Yeah, you better go out and start foraging for some, very soft leaves is all I can say.
I'm going to have to sit in the middle of my garden with my 20 gauge, make sure no one
Got that
comes
right.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Anne Marie, with the people that unemployed because of shutdowns. Yeah. Oh, your
I
neighbor
know
got hit. Oh my.
My brother lives in a major city, and he's already taken his family out of the city because his work is essentially shut down, and he's already taken his family out of the city and gone to the country where my folks are, to the farm. So,
Yeah.
Well, my daughter lives down by Columbus, and she messaged me earlier here tonight that store shelves down there in her area anyway are pretty well empty. It's just absolutely crazy. And I said, well, if you need something, you call because they're still okay around here.
Yeah.
Is it going to get bad
Teresa was
enough
saying.
that people get so hungry they eat animal food?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
there's no doubt. I mean, what did they do during the Depression when it was really, when the stock market plummeted and they really didn't have a say. I mean, I'm just waiting to see how long it takes for my youngest son and daughter-in-law to call and say, "Mom, can we come over and go shopping in your pantry?" Because it'll come with them too.
Oh,
It'll come.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
it will.
Well,
suppose-
Teresa from Stringfield Ridge Farm was talking about in the chat earlier that this is pretty much unprecedented for her lifetime, definitely for my lifetime as well. And I don't know, has there been anything, even during, like the Vietnam War and everything, where things have been this strapped for people? I don't know. That was before my time.
I don't think so. And I think this is just way out of control. I think a few have gone out and made this miserable. I think there's plenty to go around if you're sensible. Unfortunately, there's an awful lot of folks that have no sense anymore.
Well,
I don't know how much.
we say?
I am so sorry. Go
George
ahead.
Carlin would say that if you think about the average intelligence of humanity based off of who is considered, the lowest IQ versus the highest IQ, and the average person is right in the middle of that. If you think of that in terms of those that are more inclined to do, theft and crime and stuff in order to survive versus people that are, the opposite, the average person is probably in the middle of that as well. And that's kind of scary too, knowing how dark and evil people can be in general versus, people that are fairly normal. The average is in the middle of that. And, where does that leave us?
Yeah, Red
There's
Shed,
also
you're right.
rumors that somebody had hacked into Google. Now, I don't know how much this is true. You can take it with a grain of salt, but someone had hacked into Google and started spreading all this, and that's why everyone went completely nuts because they bought into it.
I'll have to admit I have not heard that one yet. But that's
Grandy's Garden, if my ex-husband called and said he needed to borrow toilet paper and disinfecting wipes, I'm not going to say online what I would give him instead, but they're my exes for a reason.
Now, my ex has no idea where I am. That's the reason I changed my name.
Yeah, Chris, you're right. Tomorrow, I'm assuming daycares are still open. This weekend.
no.
Well, he said by tomorrow he figures daycares will be ordered shut.
Yeah, I thought they were ordered shut.
Oh, that I don't
here.
know. We took Kaylee to the Y yesterday morning because I wanted to take her into the pool, and there is a sign, no guests allowed throughout March, members only. So we turned around and came home. And today the Y closed as of 8 p.m. tonight, totally closed. All fitness centers in Ohio are now closed. And I wondered how they're going to do that because people getting in the water, the warm pools, that could definitely infect somebody. Yep.
Yeah, Grandma. So
And my mom's the one that got us into prepping. I mean, that woman could pull a penny every which way. And so she taught us this a long time ago, and I think it's in my mindset now to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I'm trying to pass it down. Well, Travis grew up around it too, but
I
now I'm
love
trying to
reading
teach
your
Matthew
posts.
about
Yeah, I
it.
love reading your posts about Matt.
yeah, Grandma's so
That's
happy.
great.
It's a very good time to pay attention if you still have them, parents, grandparents, folks that have been through some of the harder times in the past. It's a good time to pay attention to how they handle it and what they do.
Yeah, I told Matt. Matt asked me, he goes, "Can I have a can of tuna?" And I don't know why he asked, but he does. And I'm going to tell you what, if I give you a can of tuna, you got to give me your firstborn. He shook his head, walked off, and said, "You never know what's going to come out of your mouth."
That's the truth. That's the truth. You need to be writing a book. A book everybody could read, Red. everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What I love about
Yep.
everybody here, though, is we're all doing these active channels and documenting pretty much everything that we're going through during this process. I think that'll be very helpful in the long run, years to come. Is, we've got all these homesteaders that are living it, and, Donald and I, with him working in a municipal wastewater plant and understanding what he's got to go through and how fragile that system is. I really like that everybody's documenting this. I think it's going to be really valuable later on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Britain Farms are all of our grocery stores are now, especially the 24-hour ones,
Okay.
are closing at night so they can clean and restock.
Okay, and we have a new caller here, so we'll let them in. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
It's Misty again.
Oh, okay. So,
Sorry, I got
we lost
my
you.
call dropped.
okay, no
Must have-
problem.
must
Well,
have
you're
been-
back here.
Must have been that wine.
I'm telling you.
She's not sharing.
Hand over the Boone's Farm.
All right.
Do you have
I haven't
do you
drank
have
Boone
cereal?
Farm since high school.
Do you have cereal to go with that, Red?
Actually, I do have Captain Crunch.
Oh, my goodness. Captain Crunch and Boone's Farm, you are living the life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Imagine going through this without the internet. Oh my gosh, what would we do? We'd actually have to talk to somebody.
I know. No, they have shut down all the daycares and everything here in Texas. There's Kendra, my college student. They gave them an extended spring break
Yep.
through this week.
Yep.
And they're meeting today and tomorrow to decide if all her classes are going to go online for the rest of the semester. I know SMU is going to, or Sam Houston, which is where she will transfer into when she gets out of the local community college that she's in now. They're doing all online courses for the rest of the semester, and we should know within the next probably 48 hours whether she will go all online.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin G said they still make Boone's Farm.
Yep.
Yep, they still do.
Okay, and we have another caller here, so we're going to let them in the room. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
It's just me.
Just you.
It's just Nathan.
Just Nathan.
Oh, good Lord, don't let him in the room.
Control the day.
Okay, Nathan, we've got another new
Scoot-
caller
scoot
here,
on
too.
over. We have somebody else coming in.
All right. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hi, this is Lynn with Thomas Farm, Okie.
Oh, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, well, we have, let me see if I can remember everybody. We have Crystal. We have Mama Z. We have Misty. We have Nathan. We have
Me.
Red.
Red.
we have Red.
Kiss my grosh.
I can't remember everybody, but okay, you're all on the party line. Just be aware that we have a number of people here that can just, be courteous and speak your
Yeah,
piece.
just on the easy way to remember me, just remember me as Roller Extremely Dangerous. I got that nickname after running over many toes with my wheelchair.
I'd believe every bit of that.
Well, I was shortened down from toe ninja, so true story.
Oh, this is good.
All right.
Jessica, he just called in. Are you lagging that much? Need to refresh.
All right. In Oklahoma, they have shelter casinos. They had made schools where they ain't gonna have it until like the 6th of April. And the county I live in, they have shut down the courthouse. So, And
They've actually did that too. I forgot about that. They shut down the courthouses here.
Okay, I want to share a picture here real quickly. I'm not going to leave it up, but this this is a photograph from employees from the Ohio State University performing a coronavirus testing on a patient in their car on Monday. So I don't know if they didn't let him in. I mean, I don't know what the underlying story is here, but my goodness, to do this in a parking lot, that's getting a little crazy, I think. No, that's just my thought anyway.
Those all over Texas now.
Next thing we're going to know, Walmart's going to turn into a FEMA camp.
Yeah.
and there's 8 confirmed cases in Oklahoma.
Oh, there's like, what, 30 in Texas now?
Wow. And there's
52
32
in
here.
Tennessee.
Is West Virginia still holding out? Because last I checked, they had like nothing.
Yeah, West Virginia doesn't have any of them, but all that moonshine, I ain't surprised.
Well, and actually, NC works in the medical field, and she said that she spoke with some doctors and stuff at where she works, and they honestly believe that this has actually been around for quite a while in the United States, and that, you know, some of us got really sick over the winter. I know I got sick in January, and I don't know
I
whether
did
it was
too.
anything like that, but that this
Yeah, I
isn't
did
something
too.
that's
I ended
new.
up at the hospital. Yeah, I couldn't breathe.
I got
Jason
sick.
had the
I
Ebola.
got sick in December and was pretty much sick just about the whole month.
Nathan, you are the Ebola.
Natural NC said that was a dry food testing location,
Yeah.
that they have several there in North Carolina.
Half Acre Dreams is asking all the people we have on the phone if you know how many cases there are in your state.
76 in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Well,
32 here.
yeah, but that's probably changing by the minute.
Current count in Texas is
Yeah.
Ooh, 136 in Louisiana.
of how
Oy
many cases
vey.
in Texas.
I think the
52
hardest
in
hit
Tennessee.
state was Washington State.
Yeah.
I'm having
And it-
Papa look for me real quick.
And the trend in Pennsylvania has been Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, which is the capital, and Philadelphia. So it all seems concentrated in these areas that
The bigger
have a large
Yeah,
concentration of people in a small space.
Yeah.
So here in Gettysburg, in rural area Pennsylvania, it's not as bad. We don't have any cases yet, but I know in Frederick, where Donald works in that general area, they just got their first case today.
yeah,
There's 68
904.
in Texas. I think there are 4 confirmed cases in Montgomery County, which is the county I live in.
904 in state of Washington. Yeah, Anne Marie, I heard the other day somebody, I don't know what talk show Daryl was
Good
listening
Lord, Anne
to,
Marie.
but they said the hardest hit city is Seattle, and the hardest, and it's all in one spot. I think at that time it was 30 residents in a nursing home. So yeah, that's wow. 368 in California. Gosh. 950 in New York.
Wow, that's bad.
United States has 4,667 cases and 865 just today. Thank you, Brett or Amy. I'm not sure which there are. I don't even know. My daughter lives in Florida, so I don't know what's going on down there. I know she's still okay. My boys are local. One don't talk to me, so, and the other one's okay. And then Daryl's kids are down in Columbus area. So,
Yeah, all my family's in West Virginia, my sister and my parents. You know, my brother is too, but... So,
yeah, Brett and Cindy, Ohio closed their schools last. They made the announcement Thursday. Some of them closed then, but most of them closed as of Friday afternoon. Our granddaughters are off for 3 weeks.
Yes, Brett. Share the link.
Sure, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Brett, by all means. That's why you have that blue. You have a wrench.
Yeah, Conroe SD is shut down until April 10th. The school district itself. A lot of these people that have been mocking homeschool is going to learn how to homeschool real dang quick.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
what was the joke last week about homesteaders are finally the cool people?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Seriously,
all of this going on right now will eventually, it's not going to create a woke society because society as a whole is dumb, but I do think it's going to open people's eyes to, there has to be certain measures in place if you're going to continue with a level of comfort moving forward. I don't know that the country's necessarily ever going to be the same, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, my sister was telling me that there was a snowstorm that hit West Virginia many years ago, and the snow was so deep that the fireman who was trying to go help people and bring supplies to them had to literally lay down on a sled and pull themselves through the snow. It was that bad. Well, this one particular fireman went to help this family. He said he got there, and this is what infuriated her and me. They said they got there, and the guy was sitting back drinking his beer, drunk, and was laughing. He goes, "Yeah, I forgot to pick up food for the babies."
Okay, and the link that Brett put in the chat there takes you to this page. So they're saying now 4,600 confirmed and 87. Well, this is global status: 87 deaths, 74 recovered. All right. No, that's U.S. In the U.S. they're saying 87 people have died of this in the United States.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder about West Virginia in regards to having got married in that area, and I'm familiar with that area. If part of the issue there, and we discussed this on Marco, like Naturally NC and Mama Z and Samson Farms, and I have discussed this on Marco, that it could be a couple different reasons, but our theories are that West Virginia is very much a hill folk type area, Appalachia, people that are wary of strangers, and maybe they're not going to the doctor because they're lower income or because, they just don't go around anybody anyway, so they're not catching it. So those are just some of our theories as to why West Virginia is so clean.
Well, that's a very good point. I mean, that's a very good point.
Okay, and we have we have another party on the phone here, so we're going to let them into this free for all. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Yes, I'd like to order a pizza,
It's
please.
Brenda.
Brenda. Hey,
Nice try, Brenda.
Oh, well,
Hey,
I had to
Brenda.
try. Hi, girlfriend.
I still owe you that possum pizza, but don't think I have forgotten.
Okay. Okay. That will be good. Our next meetup. Possum pizza.
I can hardly wait.
Sherry knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I do.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound that appealing.
No.
It is. It's
Crystal,
It's funny.
the first time Daryl did the phone lines for people to call in, Brenda was one of the first that called in and had that voice, and she wanted to order possum pizza. I lost it because I knew the voice right away. And then the other one was Wanda and Danny from Deep South Homestead. Daryl could not Daryl could not figure out Danny's voice to save his soul, and I'm sitting here dying. Yeah, that'll
I
always
couldn't help myself. I had to do it, and I just had to call Danny and Wanda and tell them to call it.
Oh, come on, Morgan. We could use a good pizza tonight. Oh,
where
Lord.
we live, they don't deliver, but then we live out in the middle of nowhere.
That's true.
Yeah, they don't deliver here neither.
Well, they do here. We all know that. We even get, sheriffs at the door.
Oh, God, I can't remember. That was horrible.
This is true.
Yeah. You should have been on this end of it, Red.
Yeah, no doubt.
was like, what in the hell
Oh,
H do you want? We didn't do anything. Gosh.
Yeah. And you got friends like Morgan who'll send you pizzas. Scare the crap out of all of us.
I don't know. Morgan promised not to send any pizza tonight. I don't think it would do him any good.
Francine, how are
They
you,
put a stop
kiddo?
to it.
Oh, goodness.
The funny
Yeah, I
part
was
was
just gonna let
watching
y'all
Morgan's
tell y'all.
face when it got to your door.
Oh, yeah.
That crap at grin on his face.
Oh,
Yeah, if they
Brad?
said that this is going to last till like July or August, how's that going to affect the postal system?
Yeah.
I've been hearing talk of them shutting down travel, period.
Well, that's just
Major
crazy
highways.
because I'm supposed to get my chickens in May.
Yeah, Morgan, if you want to look my address up and send me a pizza, friend, go ahead.
There you go, Chris. I like that, Chris. That's a good one. That's a good one. You were
No,
wrecked.
May,
You
'cause
should have sat
God
here.
is good, beer is good.
Yeah, we are
God is
in
great, beer is good. People are crazy.
we are indebted to Gold Saw Farm there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
That
Although
boy deserves
although
a
next
good pizza at the next
next time
get
can we
together he's at.
next time can we get pepperoni on it, please?
Pepperoni and no Corona on the side, please.
That's right. Nathan, I like that. Is that the
I done seen
homesteading?
pictures of Daryl. He's done been coronified.
I put it out
Well,
there.
Terry sent me something that, tagged me in something on Facebook. If you grew up drinking Boone's Farm, you're
Yep.
safe from the coronavirus.
And my sister of all people said, "Well, she's safe," and I'm going, "Really, Linda? All righty. Well, that says a whole lot of Now I know why there are some more lushes than what I thought.
Oh, there are some out there.
Oh, yeah.
Heavens.
Yeah.
Missouri's been a mess today.
No extra anchovies. No anchovies. Thank you very much, though, Morgan. Appreciate the thought.
Yeah. Miss Brenda, Missouri's always a mess.
This is true.
Yeah. So in your heart, just call and say hi. No specific topic tonight. Not that there ever is. I mean, hey, you can hear who we got on the phone.
I know, they let me on the
and I'm
phone.
actually behaving myself tonight.
I
so.
know.
And,
It has
and
to be
clearly they
difficult.
let anybody in because Nathan's here, so.
Well,
Exactly.
Hey. I have some seniority over
We
there.
already have one troll in the conversation here.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to get Nathan to sing Rubber Ducky by Ernie. He won't do it.
oh my gosh.
But at least I'm adorable, lovable troll.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait a minute.
And
Maybe.
my biggest.
Does everybody have their waders on?
Hey, my biggest bargaining chip is I got a creepy Ruru.
Waiters, I'm practically sitting in the ark because, well, it just quite
Oh
raining.
yeah. Well, I apologize, Red. That's true. That's true. Oh. Amazon just
I got a
stocked
Kenty
toilet
Ruru.
paper. One pack per
Ruru.
order. Oh, really? Amazon just stocked toilet paper, and they're selling 1 pack per order. All righty. Jessica, I don't know if you're old enough to be immune, because that wasn't that long ago.
I drank Boone's Farm in college. That was soon enough to be immune.
Oh, heavens. I was drinking Old Crow in high school.
Seems to
Mad
me
Dog 2020 right here.
seems to
Mad
me
Dog
Boone's
and
Farm was a
Daniel.
brand new
If
thing
you
back.
drink Mad
yeah,
Dog
when we were-
2020,
Yeah.
you're immune to everything.
Yeah, we're
No,
older than.
I won't even touch Mad Dog. I tried that
Especially
one
Mad
time,
Dog
and it started to
2020
sound like a walk, and I
Yeah.
tried to step out of the moved vehicle.
It seems to me when I was in high school, the wine of choice was Thunderbird, maybe.
What are you staring at me for? I didn't drink. I still don't drink.
Oh, no. If I
I
drank wine in
know.
high school, it was homemade wine.
No.
Alrighty, and
I
we have another caller here.
The Red Shed, I have 2 of those big packs from Sam's Club in our back pantry. So I told you that could be worked out.
Okay, folks, we got another caller. We're going to let him in here. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Yes, hi. It's Sewing Your Heart.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Crazy Farm.
You are online with a number of folks?
I missed it. I couldn't hear you.
We just need to put everybody online.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and say your name again, please.
My name is Elena, and my channel is Sewing Your Heart.
I love that, Elena.
Okay, Elena, thank you so much. As you're well aware.
Oh, Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan's really digging on me here. But as you're
Morgan, I just almost shot my tea out of my mouth after I read that.
as you can tell, Linda, we have a number of people on. Just be aware that this is like the old time party lines.
Oh, I think I'm good now. I tried to put you on my ear to listen, and I sounded muffled, but I have you guys on speaker now, and now I can hear everybody.
Okay, great.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, Morgan, you got some Jesus in there. I'll take some.
So anyway,
That's some good
one of the things I would hope to accomplish tonight is if you know anybody that's kind of in our genre. And when I say our genre, we're going to say homesteading first, prepping second, because preppers are just wannabe homesteaders. They just haven't started growing things yet for the most part. But if you have people that you know in your area, even in times like this, chances are very good that may be your first source to get a hold of somebody should you need something. Because we're the ones that have it. We're the ones that didn't have to go out and run to the store and spend hundreds of dollars and max out credit cards to go buy all the toilet paper that could be seen. We're not the ones that had to do that. And that's one of the things that I wanted to emphasize here early on is the fact that it's a wonderful time to be a homesteader. It's a wonderful time to have this mindset of stocking up a little bit. I mean, not to go to extremes, but stocking up a little bit, being prepared, having things that you need, and not being dependent on having to go to the store every single day. So
Absolutely.
So find out, if there's some of these folks out here, if they're from your area, maybe in some cases they're just maybe a couple miles away. In other cases, maybe it's a half an hour or more. But unless you say hi, matter of fact, if everybody in the chat here just wants to put in what state you're in, I'm sure a lot of people are maybe curious. We know a few of you out here anyway, but we are in Ohio, and we know that. I'll let you guys do it. Go ahead and just type in the chat.
We're in Virginia. We're about 30 minutes from the North Carolina border.
Mama's East Texas Kitchen is in Texas. Isn't that amazing?
I'm just north of Houston.
Okay, and Duncan's in Missouri.
I'm in Missouri, about 50 plus miles south of Kansas City, Missouri.
And Washington County News Station / Utah is in Utah. Another one that's amazing.
I am an hour and a half northwest of Kansas City in Missouri.
And JCB Farm and Garden is in Kentucky.
Another Missourian.
Built on the Rock Homestead is in Texas Hill Country. Lou Just Lou's in Mississippi. Sonny's Place is in Missouri. Never Enough Time is in Chicago. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm about about hour east of Tulsa.
Yes,
And
Nathan,
I'm
you're in the
in
middle of nowhere.
southern Pennsylvania, about an
nowhere,
hour and a half
Tennessee.
from D.C.,
Nowhere,
hour and a half
Tennessee.
from Baltimore, 2 hours from Philly.
Okay, and never enough time.
And about 8 hours from
Never
us.
enough times in Chicago. Kinfolk Farm of Georgia is in Georgia. Another one that helps out. Farmer Brad, we know he's another neighbor of ours in East Central Indiana. Cecilia Jansen is in Toronto.
I am literally in the middle of nowhere.
The busy little house is in lockdown.
Makes two of us, Nathan.
Reap what you sow is in Louisiana. And naturally, NC is in NC, obviously,
Imagine
North Carolina.
That. Yeah.
Making lemonade from lemons is too.
Naturally, and see, Kiss My Grass. That is about 30 minutes from the North Carolina line.
Okay. Stringfield Ridge Farm is in Kentucky. Kiss My Grass Acres, Virginia.
in Independence, Missouri.
Thomas Farm Okie from Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma. Hidden Within Myself is in Connecticut. J Love's in Ohio. Busy Little House is in Quebec, Canada. They're not allowing us to go visit up there anymore for the time being. And I said this earlier, but just so everybody's aware, Canada has closed their border. They have said nobody's going to Canada. So the
I
entire...
have a question about that, Daryl.
Sure.
I have a friend right now that is in Canada, American citizen, my neighbor, actually. Are they letting Americans back in?
From what I heard earlier today, the United States has not closed their border. So, yes, Canadians can come visit us, but we can't go into Canada.
Okay.
Mari's here.
She's worried. She's supposed to come home on the 31st, and she's really worried that she won't be able to get back in.
They may have to leave early if she can.
I've been telling her that, and she's like, well, they're saying that. I'm like, honey, I think you need to come home.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, there's nothing normal or standard about what's going on right now.
But see, their government's telling them something different than what our government's saying, and that's when you're dealing with all the politics and stuff. They're getting different news than what we're getting. And
what are they getting?
Well, that it's not that bad, and now, you know, I've been telling her it's getting bad, and they're fixing to close the borders down. You need to come home. And she's like, well, I think I may stay an extra month. And I'm like, if you stay an extra month, you may not get home at all.
Exactly, and if it isn't that, if their news is saying that it isn't that bad, then why are they closing down the borders?
Exactly.
Yeah, Busy Little House, the border is closed except to Canadians. In other words, an American citizen can't go into Canada, but a Canadian citizen can. They can go back home. But if you're an American, they will turn you around at the
Autumn
line.
Oaks said they're letting U.S. citizens in Canada. They have shut the rest of the world out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so they changed that sometime today then.
I don't know. At this point,
Well,
I don't
but
think
how long is it going to stay
yeah,
like that? Is the
at this
question.
point, if you don't have to go to another country, I would say just stay where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At this point, I wouldn't even go to town, let alone go to some other country.
Of course, on the other side of that coin, there are those that live essentially on the border, and of course, their lives were drastically changed back in 2001 on 9/11, when all that happened. But I am aware that there's even some buildings that the Canadian border goes through the middle of the building. So there, we've had good close neighbors with Canada, and likewise, but you can no longer go across the line like it doesn't exist, like you could many years ago. Sherry and I used to go up to what town was it?
Ontario, Canada.
Ontario. We used to go to Ontario maybe a couple times a month.
Autumn Oaks said they clarified it today.
Sonny's place said that Canada is blocking foreigners from entry. That's as of 5 hours ago.
But
It's-
Misty,
What
I
if you're
told
a
you last
foreigner
night
already in
how
the
your
country?
friend could get home for free.
What, Nathan?
I told her how her friend could get home for free from Canada. Just let them deport her.
Well, yeah, they'll get her across the border. It won't necessarily get her back to Texas.
Well, they may put her in the Never Never Land.
Impossible.
Well, I know somebody, who was it? Heritage Ways, Katie, and they're ones that they're traveling looking for their homestead, and she said they're worried about they're talk about like closing down the interstate. Number one, they can't do that because the truckers. Thank God we have truckers because that's how a lot of these stores are getting their supplies. But it's like
the truckers are getting worried.
yeah, exactly. Sure they are, and they should be.
In our town today, I went by the dollar store when I went and picked Audrey up from the doctor.
Yeah.
And they got a shipment in today, a truck in, and the police escorted them in, and the police sat there until they unloaded that truck.
Well, and we have someone in the chat here that earlier that said they work at Dollar General, and when the employers are trying to unload the truck, there were people coming up and stealing the stuff out of it.
Yeah, trying to steal toilet paper and stuff out of the truck.
Yeah,
Well,
that's probably why they were police escorted.
Well, there was that one guy, at one time when the guy got stabbed over a case of water.
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry, actually, they can shut down the interstate, and that's the way the interstate is designed
Yeah.
to be shut down for rapid military redeployment, and it was all based off of the Autobahn. It's
Yeah, that's true.
and, so the interstate system is designed and made to where they can shut down sections of it at a time if they want to.
Sure.
But yeah, they can't legally shut down travel, period, because as Americans we have a right to travel.
Well,
Even we have a constitutional right to travel, and just like the gatherings, we have a constitutional right to gather as well. So it's kind of sketchy how they're getting away with limiting it, but not doing away with it.
yeah. There's.
Yeah.
Last I heard, the magic number was 10.
Yeah, the last time I heard it was 10.
Because we have a First Amendment right to peaceably assemble. So they're pushing the line as much as they can to keep everybody safe,
Right.
but without actually breaking our supreme law of the land.
Right.
But it's for our own good.
The biggest problem is what you just said. I don't want the government looking out for my being good. I don't want that.
The government has never looked out for anyone but themselves.
Exactly.
That's true.
Mhm.
And this is coming from a former government employee.
Yeah, you can rest assured that that those down at the State House in Columbus and every other one, they have absolutely zero issues with getting whatever they want.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, the government's a business. That's exactly what it is.
From watching the press conference, they've been recommending.
Hidden within myself is probably because they're so full of crap.
But yeah, they've been wording it very carefully. Like, we suggest no gatherings more than this
Right,
number. We recommend
the keyword. Right.
The city of Conroe out and out banned. They banned it. It is on paper. I posted that on my Facebook page. They banned gatherings smaller than 50, and it's coming out tomorrow. It's my understanding that it'll be 10. They'll ban it.
Well, since it affected you and your church, I mean, legally you do have a lawsuit. I mean, you could make some bank.
Well, is the gatherings that's supposed to be going on here in Oklahoma, they canceled the concerts. They just about canceled. They canceled the biggest church in Tulsa. They made it where those churches in Tulsa, what they did was they've been doing online where you can watch it online. So they made it where they had they're able to watch from home, but they can't gather in the churches.
Yeah, we did an online service.
And the hospital, they won't let family members in, and even the nursing homes. They won't let family members in. They only let the medical staff in.
Yeah, it's the same here in
A
Virginia.
hospital can legally do that because they are a private entity.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
I
hospitals
can
do that all they
understand it
want.
though, because they're at high risk.
That is
Because
true.
if the God forbid the family member goes in there not knowing and spreads the coronavirus, that family member would much rather be upset that they can't go in than feel guilty that they killed their family members in the future. That's how I feel about it. I really feel like that's just trying to protect the ones that are at the highest risk, which I support. I don't necessarily agree with everything. I think a lot of it is so surreal and bizarre. It's like living in a movie theater. But I can understand that point.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've read somewhere where they were comparing this to some type of movie that came out many, many years ago. For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it now. Contagion or something like that.
Well, the whole part, the whole thing with all of this is, what exactly is this supposed to do? I mean, does the virus just disappear? If everybody were to stay in their house to pick a time period, if nobody made any contact with another person for a week, would the virus just go away? I don't think
I
so.
don't see where it would.
I don't think so.
I think 14 days. Like if nobody had any contact with anybody.
So total isolation for 14 days. You think the virus would just disappear?
No.
Well, not realistically.
And I've seen on Facebook where you buy those cans of Lysol and stuff, and it's got like Munis, CV on it, on the label.
Right,
they've
yeah.
actually, yeah.
Right.
Coronavirus was put on their label. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was put on there years ago.
This is a
SARS
different strain.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is a total different strain than what they had originally listed on those bottles.
With that said,
it's a different strain, and it's also evolving rapidly.
Right, and it's so highly contagious. And from the press conference that I watched, they're not actually going into this and putting all these canceling of schools and all these don't go out into a group more than 50. They're not doing that with the thought of it's going to completely stop the virus. But what they're hoping for is that the spread is going to be slower and it's not going to peak really, really high, really fast, because if that happens, they don't have the ventilators. They don't have the hospital room. They don't have the supplies to handle that peak. But if they can slow down the spread, then they can treat the ones that are sick with, well, that's what they're saying. And it kind of makes sense that it should help. But there's a fine line between, our rights and doing it. But, all I'm doing from a perspective is, focusing on what I can do here, keeping my family safe and God forbid, I don't want to see people, dying because we don't have room in medical facilities or staff. So if they think this could help, I'm okay with bunkering it down and sitting on my couch for a couple weeks.
Okay, and we have
Well, actually,
we have
people are
a
getting in bed.
we have
Just taking more of a nap.
we have another caller that wants to join the party here, so we're gonna let him in the room. This is Daryl. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
How you doing, buddy?
It's Morgan.
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 Hey,
It's
Morgan.
pizza time.
It's pizza time.
Hey, guys. Hey,
Hey, Morgan.
I just wanted to call in real quick. Daryl, you asked a really good question, and I just think it's really important for people to have a good, clear sense of this one. So you asked the question of, hey, if we all collectively as a society sort of socially isolate and do this for a month, is the virus going to go away? And it's absolutely not going to. But what it comes down to is our healthcare infrastructure right now cannot support a massive spike in cases. And the population, the people who are most vulnerable, folks over the age of 60, folks with serious medical conditions, they're going to be the ones who suffer from that, because if you actually take tally of it right now, the number of respirators that the United States has on hand is 171,000. So if you think about that, right, in a nation of 350, 70 million, I don't know, whatever it is, that if you have even a 10% of that population getting infected at that point, folks who will need respirators won't be able to have them. So by isolating, all you're doing is spreading peanut butter and stretching out the infection time, but it gives our healthcare infrastructure a chance to catch up, essentially.
Yeah,
Right.
it gives them a chance to cope with it.
Exactly, exactly.
Right. I mean, they said that if nothing was done, you would look at a double increase every 4 days. That would bring us over 1 million people sick in a matter of a month and a week, if that was to happen. But by them limiting the exposure, hopefully the illnesses will stay at a level that medical can handle.
I need to hop off of here because I got to take care of a bunch of puppy dogs. And as soon as I say the one important word, they're going to go completely nuts.
I hear you. Yep. Red, you take care, Red.
Thank you. I'll be listening.
Okay.
All right.
It was nice
Good night.
talking to you.
It's great talking to you, too.
Okay, and we have a party,
Bye for now.
and we have a party in the chat from Spain.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to read that. Go ahead.
That and let me just read this in case anybody missed it, because it's scrolling through. Yesterday here in Spain, we are up to 7,270 infected people and 288 died. So today we are already up to 9,924 people infected and 394 died. Spain is on curfew for 5 days already. This is real and big.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem is the hospitals, the healthcare industry, period, is not going to be able to treat everyone who needs to be treated with this. And if it isn't, at the very least, slowed down, you're going to have mass deaths across the country.
Correct.
I don't think there is any slowing it down, though. That's the problem.
Well, here's my concern. Here's my biggest concern. They're saying, okay, everybody, isolate yourselves now or whatever. We don't know how many people have it because they didn't have the test before, because it takes especially a very special test that they had to create. And so therefore all these people that had it, they've had it. I could have it, Sherry could have it. There's folks in the chat here, you could have it, but until you're tested, you're a nobody, you're a no number.
2 to 3 weeks ago, my daughter came down with 103.9 temperature, and she gave it to me, and I had 102, between 103. All the symptoms, and it's like an inside joke around my house, saying, well, we already got it. So, but jokingly, of course, because, hey, laughter is one of the best medicines. So
but you could have had it, and you were never tested.
I was never tested. My daughter got the high temp on a Saturday, and I live in a small town, so it was one of those incidences where it was like, you have to decide, is this worth going into the ER? I gave her a fever reducer. The fever went down. She's my third child. Even though that was the highest temp out of all my children, out of all the time they got sick, I was able to control it with fever reducer. I was going to bring her in on Monday, but by the time Monday hit, she was all better. And then I got sick. So I was and then I just stayed home, and I didn't even take fever reducer, and my body did what it needed to do. But we didn't go out, and we didn't, or do anything like that. But you just don't know.
No, you truly don't. I mean, this isn't the kind of thing where if somebody catches it, there's a spot on your forehead that turns purple or something. It's not like that.
Look how many of us were sick December, January, February.
Yes.
I mean, how many here had the
I
flu?
was.
Well, yeah, we were. I was.
Yeah,
I
sure.
was extremely ill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sherry and I were both real
And
sick in
there
January.
has been some talk that may have been what was going around then, and they didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't test positive for the flu.
For it. There was a lot of people tested.
If you
At
count
that
me,
time.
just about all of December.
My mother is a respiratory therapist in Florida, and she says they don't even have kits available to test. My stepfather's son, he's a nurse in Wyoming. He was just telling me this yesterday. He's like, you know how many tests we have? We have 4 tests in the whole hospital. He goes, and guess what? For us to have it tested, we have to send the test on dry ice to the state facility to have it tested. And guess what? We don't have dry ice in the hospital. So it's like, so the test, we weren't getting tested. But I do know that watching the press conferences that have been going on by the president, they are setting up within the next week 2,000 drive-in facilities around the whole country.
I think that's going to be too late. I think it's going to be too late. They should have been doing this a month ago.
Well, they had no way to know a month ago.
Yeah, but exactly. Yeah. They can only move forward, right? So,
yeah.
And speaking of moving forward, well, I don't want to take up too much of the conversation. I'll let other people chime in. But I have some valuable things that I'm doing. I would love to share about networking within my community to make sure I have food. But I'll let other people chime in before I change topics.
They're already doing tests in Oklahoma to check for CVs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, they supposedly to have 2,000 across the whole U.S. within 2 weeks. They are prioritizing who gets checked. Like if you're 65 or older.
Absolutely, Anna Marie.
And if you have a temperature of 99.6 or higher, you'll qualify for the test. Because apparently, if you're older, you don't get as high of a temperature when you're younger. That's what they said in the press conference, at least.
Okay, and we have another caller here I'm going to let in the room. This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hey, Daryl. This is Chris 270 here calling.
Wow. How you doing, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing really good.
Hide your cats, everybody.
My YouTube. Hello, Cher.
How are you?
Hello, all. I'm doing really good. Hey, I just wanted to call in and say there is some really good news. The really good news is we all know that this is really not about politics or anything else. The really good news is that this is a battle of the forces of good and evil. And we all know, if you read the good book, that the good always wins. And I want to point that on out. And I also want to point on out that there's a lot of stuff that we can all do to get prepared. I mean, really prepared. There's things that we can do, young and old, that we can do to combat this, and not be a part of the problem. We can be a part of the problem, or we can be a part of the solution. And there are real home remedies that can help us build up our
Yes,
immunity
there is.
to this virus. And there's real home remedies that we can use that we can to help the elderly and the young, the sickly. There's stuff that we can do. Hydrotherapy is one of them. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell how to do any of this here. I won't do it until in my video. But there's a lot of information on out there from real people, from real doctors that know what they're talking about, and it's starting to become more and more available. And I want to encourage all the people out there on YouTube watching these videos here, start doing some research from real people that know their real stuff. Okay, from the real doctors and stuff, how to combat this, because that is the most important. You know, I mean, let's face it, folks. We're Americans. We're not cowards. We don't run from problems. We don't hide from problems. We learned how to face up to these problems. We learned how to, you know, we put our armor on and we go into battle and we fight it head on. And that's what I would strongly encourage all of us to do, not to be afraid of this. But you know what, that armor that we have to put on, not isn't just the Holy Scripture that we have, you know, the love of Christ, but it's also the knowledge of what it takes to combat this, you know, of what we can fight this with. And you know what? It's very important that we all get the word on out that we need to do our own research. We can't count on somebody putting information on out. We have to do our own research from reliable resources. And it is out there, folks. It's coming available. And I want to encourage everybody into looking in this, what you can do to protect your loved ones, your neighbors, what you can do. And it doesn't matter if you're young or old. We all have to get involved in this fight as Americans, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but we all have to get involved in this fight.
That's true. That's very true.
To add to that,
And I'm sorry, but I go.
Okay, it sounds like somebody sounds like somebody has a dog in the background.
That's Grizz's dog.
Oh, is that
I'm
Grizz's?
pretty sure that's
No,
Grizz's.
that's not my dog. Stir Fry's inside. I'm by myself.
Oh, okay.
If that was my dog, she'd be on the cast iron skillet.
I thought
Sorry,
it was
my
one of
dog heard
yours.
Grizz and got scared.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said, Grizz. However, how does one know what is a reliable source?
A reliable source. Each one of us has to decide. Each one of us has to decide that. But to me, what a reliable source is, somebody that I know is a doctor that studies this stuff, not somebody that just says, "Hey, I'm a doctor on YouTube." And we have a lot of that in there, and it's tough. But for instance, okay, what is a reliable source? Well, I'm going to tell you that in my case, is a reliable source is somebody that I know that is a doctor that is putting out this information that I know is a doctor that has studied it. Now, they're not well known to the world and stuff, but this is an individual that I value, that I really believe this individual because I know this individual personally. I think that's the start of it. But I think it also goes into whether you're going to the CDC website. And I know many people are going to say, "Oh no, I'm not going to trust the CDC." But there are websites, there are doctors that were long before this all started on out that are on YouTube that can present us with valuable information. If it's a doctor that's been putting on out information that's off the wall for years and years and years, and you look in their past and what they're putting on out there and it's off the wall crazy, then you say, "Hey, you know what? This is not a valuable resource."
One of the places I recently found was newstart.com. I liked it. It was from a trust in God is one of their beliefs, and they have doctors on that website that talk about things you could do. And then since we're on this topic, I know we all walk different paths, and we're all on different levels in our journey in this world. So I'm not trying to push religion on anybody, but if anybody wants to read a scripture that can bring comfort during a time like this, I recommend Psalms 91. It brought me comfort when this started going down.
Well, hey, yeah, and that's very valuable information. And if it's okay with Daryl, I'm loading up a video right now that if it's okay with him, it is from a religious channel. But I think it's something that is very valid. That the first 5 minutes of this video here, a person could skip ahead, past the first 5 minutes. There's some very valuable information here, and if it's okay with him, I'll post the link in chat. But it's this type of information that teaches us how to address it and fight the fears, how we can pull together as Americans. And yes, it is a religious channel. But it's up to Daryl if I can post it.
Grizz, you can post a link in here. We have trust in you.
Okay, I'm going to post this link here, and the link is Three Angels Broadcast, and it's a Seventh-day Adventist group that puts this on out, just so people know if they go to click on it. It's a very religious group. You don't have to believe all their twists and everything, but I tell you what, it's an hour-long video, but it's very very informational. I am going to be posting some more videos on another channel that teaches a lot of the stuff that they talk about on here, on how to do what they're doing. I'll never teach it because if I try to teach how to do hydrotherapy or any of this other stuff, I'm going to leave something out that could be very important. So, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I won't do it. But I do want to start promoting sites that I believe that are very reputable.
Okay, so folks, in the chat, Grizz270 has posted a link to a what he feels is a video worth watching, spending a couple times spending some time in it. It's apparently made by a Seventh-day Adventist group, but that's not the point here. I would think anybody can look at your religion and feel very free to look at anybody else's religion, and we all have things to offer. We don't have to say, well, you're a Catholic, or you're a Jew, or you're a Hindu, or you're a whatever, and so therefore whatever you say doesn't mean anything. That's not the case. Everybody has something to offer. So.
I 100% agree.
And feel free to post that a second time or even a third time, Grizz. That's fine, because if they are coming back through here to have it just posted once.
Yeah, it'll get lost in the chat. So.
Yeah, sure will.
Oh yeah. I'll post it a few more times, and it's great to be on here, Daryl. I love your show. A lot of times I don't comment. I'm just kind of ghosting back here, but I catch most of them.
Yeah, you're one of those lurkers. We understand that.
Yeah. Yes, I do that a lot. I feel like, we all know my reputation, and sometimes it's just best if I don't show my face.
Grizz, we know you're too busy drooling over smudged type.
Oh, by the way, we all know that I like to supposedly abuse alcohol, but I want to put out one more thing. Alcohol and sugar is the two worst things that you can use to destroy your immune system. If you want to build up your immune system now, I don't know what herbs and vitamins you use and all that stuff. You have to stop the sugar and alcohol to help build your immune system.
And that includes the potato water.
That includes the potato water. So anyway, Daryl and Sharon, everybody, I'm going to get off here. I want to let other people get on up here. I don't want to hog the show. I just wanted to throw some of this stuff on out.
Okay, and Grizz, please post that a couple more times, and if you can, put a little bit of information with the posting so people are aware what it is.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, Grizz, thank you so much. Appreciate you calling. Always good to hear from you.
No problem. We'll chat at y'all later. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Grizz. Okay, and just for everybody's sake in here, I think probably maybe everybody knows, Grizz270 he has a different approach to a lot of things, but he's a very smart individual and a very kind and knowledgeable person. A little rough around the edges.
Sorry.
Was that the guy that just left?
Sometimes
But
it
he
just
has a
slips
heart of
out.
gold.
He does, Brenda. He truly does.
Yeah.
Was
So-
that the guy that just left?
Yes.
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 He's from Oregon.
Oh, I thought he was a gem.
Yeah, he's
I
from
love
Oregon.
everything
He was-
he said.
Yeah, he's from
He was
Oregon.
on his best behavior.
Yes. Yeah, he was doing
Oh.
pretty good, wasn't he, Nathan? Yeah. There.
Grizz was saying, you know, you can either be part of the solution or you can be part of the trouble. Can I not just be part of the solution and still cause trouble? That's kind of my thing.
I was going to say, Nathan,
We
when
wouldn't
does
have
that
it
ever
any other
stop
way,
you?
Nathan.
Nathan, trouble is expected from you wherever you go. Don't worry about it.
I mean, if Nathan wasn't my middle name, trouble would be.
Oh,
Well,
you could have two middle
if
names.
you weren't causing trouble, we'd think you were sick.
Exactly.
So,
Or I was plotting on somebody.
Yeah, there you go. That's more like it.
Exactly.
Yep.
oh, I thought that's what he did in his dreams when he's sleeping.
Actually, I don't dream.
That's scary.
Oh, and I do want to mention here to everybody in here that this Saturday there will be a gathering. It'll be a virtual gathering. So, Deep South Homestead will be hosting a virtual gathering this Saturday at I think 9 o'clock
Starting at 9
Central.
a.m.
Yep, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Central Time.
Yep.
Oh, it's right after my live.
Yep.
Cool.
Were you ever able to get into that link, Misty?
Yeah, right. Kiss my grass acres.
I don't know that I ever had the link, Sherry.
Angel? Your middle name is Angel? Okie dokie, Red. I hear ya.
Is she related to Grizz?
Oh,
That's horns holding up that halo there.
I just thought it was our underwires.
That could be.
Yeah, that got a laugh out of her. Oh, gosh.
Oh, pour me another.
I'm telling you, that's why I just
Can
asked, didn't I?
Can I add stuff for like the audience that might not be homesteaders that are inspiring or wish they could, but they're just not in a position?
Absolutely.
That would be me.
That's kind of
Misty,
how
I done
feel.
explained this to you.
That's kind of how I feel I am. I call myself like a wannabe prepper. I love to garden every year, but more for, I like to try different vegetables. I like to try new things, and I do it more on a hobby level. This spring will be a little bit different because of what's going on. I think I'll appreciate the food even more. But one thing that we've been doing is networking. I think we had talked about that. And I have 4 acres. I do not, and a lot of it's wooded. But I
Oh, you're a homesteader then. That's not a hobby. You're a homesteader.
Okay, well, thank you. I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm falling short. There's no way I can grow on my own food or anything like that. So what we have done
With 4 acres? Honey, you can do a lot on 4 acres.
4 acres, you can grow a whole lot of food there.
Let me get on my soapbox here.
Here we go.
Thank you, Nathan, please.
All right,
a lot of
'cause
it's wooded.
Misty was the same way until she had a conversation with me also. Let me ask this question. Do you strive for self-sufficiency? Not 100%,
Yeah.
but do you strive for any sort of self-sufficiency?
Yes.
You're a homesteader.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
But
Even,
I just want to let people know what we have done that's working for us. That, like, I don't have pasture 4 acres worth of land, but we wanted meat. We wanted cows. We wanted dairy. And we don't have the land prepared for that. So we've actually reached out to our local community. We're friends with some Amish locally here, and we actually worked out
I'm
a
jealous.
deal where they actually now are raising 2 meat cows for us. We traded. They said as long as we gave them a cow, they'll raise us a cow. So we worked out a deal with them. Our dairy cow, which we're weaning, they said we can, for a female Jersey calf, they will let her graze on their land, and only during the winter we would have to pay the hay for her, which is $150. There could be other places where they can work out deals where they can rent the land or lease the land for those purposes. I'm just saying, like, just because you don't have the land or homesteading, you could, like us, where we strive to be self-sufficient, but maybe don't have the pasture land for cows. We have networked, and I think networking is absolutely huge as far as that goes. We also buy milk from the Amish. They sell us a gallon for $4. It's amazing, and they make us bread and they do stuff like that. We have chickens for eggs, so we're on that track. But during a time like this, we've been networking for about 6 months now, and it's like, wow, this is really coming in handy, even though we don't feel like we're anywhere close to being able to supply everything.
But that's the whole idea behind homesteading, and that's why there is a homesteading community. No one can grow 100% of everything they need.
Yeah, because I don't have a salt mine on my property, so I can't produce everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell
exactly.
you what,
but you can barter with what you do raise to get it.
Like
and that's helping you, and it's probably helping the other person you're bartering with.
Amen.
Like last year, most of my garden and my house was on probably 1/10 of an acre. Right? I did have some stuff on the 2 acres, but not really. But my pepper patch last year, I'd put that up against anybody's on the amount of produce that I got out of that thing.
Yeah, I agree, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
yeah,
I
think,
had a in-depth tour of that thing too.
And I think coming into homesteading a couple years ago, I had this false idea that I was going to be able to do it all. And we're still striving for that. That's like the goal. I shouldn't say 100% because I do like the convenience of certain things, like flour. I couldn't imagine doing that on my own. But I do think that for those who might be scared during a time like this, that if they knew, like, don't worry, it's okay, stock up your freezer and then shop like normal, and then at least you have your freezer.
Here's the thing,
though. There are folks. There are people that I would consider to be homesteaders that do not even A, own any property, or B, have any property outside their door to have anything. They maybe live in a condo. But there are things called allotments. There are things called community gardens. There are areas that they can rent or use that are not...
Well, Misty lives in an apartment, so she has her patio or deck or whatever, and her
containers.
Container gardening. Right.
Yes.
Misty's patio is like 2 foot by 4 foot.
Right.
She's still producing her own food.
Exactly. Right.
And
Right. I've got peppers going. I've got tomato plants going, but I've got probably at least 2 months to 3 months, or if not more, worth of food canned up and above my washing machine.
That's amazing.
Misty, I'm talking about you, not to you. Hush. But Misty is a homesteader.
And there he is, our wonderful
I love
Nathan.
you, Nathan.
Yep. Just give him your little finger there, Misty.
Yeah, he always has my little finger.
Yep.
But here's the thing: I am striving. I've got a 15-acre farm in North Texas waiting on me to get back up to. I am striving to get back up to that farm. Right now, I'm in this 2x2 apartment, and I'll make this work this year.
Yeah.
You know.
There are ways to make it work. Before we moved here, we were living in a house in town, and it was in a town where you weren't allowed to grow food. You couldn't have chickens. You couldn't even have a rabbit for a pet because it was considered farm animal.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I did for several years. Actually, I went and bought myself a scooter. And I had a friend out of town where I had a garden at. Every morning I got on my scooter and I rode 6.5 miles out of town to work in my garden.
I'm just picturing that now.
It took 1 gallon of gas for 2 weeks of running around on that scooter. And I mean, I went to the grocery store and everything on that scooter. I can get 15 bags of groceries on a scooter.
Crystal, that's
Do what
too
you gotta
funny.
do.
That's awesome.
Crystal.
But there are ways of doing things. Even when you think, you know, you're sitting there in the middle of town or a city where you can't grow vegetables or raise animals, most people know somebody out in the country.
Yep. I've got a
And
friend that
all
I can
you
get
have to
eggs
do is
from.
ask.
Yep.
Another prime example, Jay Loves Adventures. She owns no land, but her garden doubles in size every year, and she cans her butt off every year.
Chris, you're popular anyway.
Yeah, so I think
So-
that's the message I just wanted to get out, you know, is just because you're probably scared right now if there's anybody listening and, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, the food's running out and this and that, and I have no land and I don't know what to do. I just wanted to put that out there that there's things you can do.
The only thing I can say about fear is the only thing to fear is fear itself.
Fear itself, yeah.
That and our government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother subject.
But, and like, I've gone over this before, that homesteading is no longer a location. It's a lifestyle.
Amen.
That it is.
Yeah.
No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, but if you're striving and working towards some sort of self-sufficiency in any aspect of your life, you're homesteading.
It's a state of mind.
Mm-hmm. That it
And
is.
it's not, and homesteading isn't a daily goal that you're going to get done every day. It's a long, drawn-out plan.
Yeah, I learn something new every week. I was going to say every day, but probably every week I learn something new in homesteading. Like, I just learned how to make my own yeast. I didn't even know I could do that. I can have my own yeast culture now with just flour and water. Like, how neat is that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, back when I had like 40 boar goats, I used to always say on this little blog I had back in the day, if you're not learning something new every day, you're already 2 days behind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geeky Gardens. Quit finding excuses and grow something. Bingo.
I'm going to quote you, Nathan, on my Homesteader quote.
Be my guest. I won't never top JB, but yeah, go for it.
I know, JB. Good what was it? What was the one we liked so much the other day that she said?
Onwards to bigger and worse decisions.
Yes, that needs to be on a T-shirt. She always finds a good one for us every day that is like, it's my goal for the day. If y'all don't know who we're talking about, Davis Farms. She's great.
Davis Family Farms.
Thank you, Davis Family Farm. Go watch her. She is so fun, and she's just as cute as she can be.
She is so sweet. She causes diabetes, and I'm not even.
Yeah, exactly.
That's adorable.
She's a fairly new YouTuber, and she's just a sweetie. Really enjoyed getting to know her.
I tell you what, now, just because somebody's new to YouTube or even new to the homesteading community doesn't mean they don't have a wealth of knowledge going there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different perspective on something, and someone might be able to learn something by the way you do it without even knowing you know anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think me coming into homesteading, and even like making a YouTube channel, but really more because it was put on my heart and I enjoyed it, but not really like on a professional level because I'm self-employed. I'm an inventor. I have businesses right now I have to manage, so time's short. But coming into this, I kind of felt like that I wasn't like other homesteaders, because I was, running business, shipping products, inventing, all this other kind of stuff. But I love and have a desire for gardening and animals. So I felt like, coming in, it might have been a little bit different. But after getting to like see different people and where they come from and how they do things, I don't think anybody's like all the same in that aspect.
No, everybody does things different, and different things work better for different people. Different things work better in different parts of the country. But even at that point, I probably garden somewhat different than my neighbor.
Okay.
I got it.
Doesn't mean we don't get the same results in the end.
Right.
Nor, I think one thing too is we all do have something in common too, is that wanting to homestead and that love for it.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you that some of the stuff I do here in Northwest Tennessee, people to the extreme south and to the extreme north, they can't copy anything I do and duplicate it just because of the seasonal differences.
Sure.
But they can still get their own tips and tricks out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It doesn't mean they still can't take parts of it and use it, and it works.
Exactly. And
Right.
I just posted Davis Family Farms link in the chat, and she's got some neat stuff coming up. I think they just built a greenhouse for under $100, and if somebody's wanting to look at some greenhouses, you might want to check it out because it's pretty neat.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Just a cute little girl, or I call her a little girl. She's not that little bit. She's just a cute little fun personality.
Aww.
But anyway, I have sure had enjoyed my time with you guys tonight, and thank you, Daryl, for letting me hang out and do this. I know everybody has been so stressed out, and this is just a crazy time. I know in our lifetime we've never seen anything like this. I can sit and remember when 9/11 happened. My daughter, who is in college now, was an infant, and all of us can remember what we were doing the day of 9/11. I mean, I had woke up, was feeding her. I worked at the prison. I was a correctional officer, and I can remember what I was doing that morning. And I think we'll all sit back and remember what we were doing when this happened, because it's that big of a deal. And I'm sure grateful that I have all of y'all to be able to, have in my life, and that we're not sitting here in Southeast Texas going through this alone. So
that is one thing that is absolutely wonderful with this community. Everybody helps everybody, even if it's just through prayer or, emotionally, to get through times like this.
Yeah.
Well, it's been I feel a very productive and good evening here tonight. We've actually been on here a couple hours, and we sure appreciate each and every one of you. Let me thank all of our moderators that are here.
You're welcome.
That
Yes, you're welcome.
and also a very, very special thank you to the folks out here in green who are members of Smudge's people, and if they're a moderator, well, they happen to just be wearing their green underneath their blue. But we appreciate all you folks as well. It allows us to continue on and try to provide you some sort of quality content. I guess with the way things have gone, we will probably be doing a live show tomorrow night as well as Thursday. So we'll come up with something to talk about tomorrow, and Thursday we'll go back to our wheel and looking at channels. Anybody has any questions?
I'll get some sleep in the meantime.
Yeah, you probably need it, kiddo.
Yeah.
I've been up now for, oh gosh, well over 24 hours.
Yeah, and we'll try to stay on top of all this. It's a sensitive subject.
It is.
It is, and there's more info coming out all the time. Some of it's scary, some of it's not so scary.
Yep, I'm telling you, Sky, you gotta, wear those granny gowns, keep them down to your ankles.
Okay.
I want to thank you for having the lines open so I can actually
Yes.
talk to you guys. It
Oh,
was
you're
nice
welcome.
This is my first time on.
Yes, thank you,
It was nice
Daryl.
meeting
Even if
you.
I didn't get a possum tail piece out of it.
Yep, that's true.
You're all very welcome. If you want to hang on the lines a little bit, that's fine too. But I am going to shut the stream down.
Okay.
We're losing some people here, but if you want to hang on the lines here for a little bit, that's fine too. So, everybody have a wonderful week. We hope to see you tomorrow night, and that
Good
would
night, everybody in chat.
that would be 8:00. So we'll say good night to everybody in chat. Thank you again for being here. And Sherry, anything else here?
No.
No. Just like that. No.
Good
Okay.
night, everybody. God bless y'all. Love
Night, John
y'all.
Boy. Night, John Boy.
Night, Mary Ellen.
Oh my gosh.
Night, Nathan.
I ain't
Night,
going
Jim
to
Bob.
bed.
Oh, he's not going anywhere.
Although spring is coming up, so Miss Brenda's going to sleep for a week.
Right?
That ain't no doubt.
I'll see you on Marco, Nathan. Troublemaker.